The next question, which I must have given verbally because I don't see it written on the board, and I don't see my chalk either, there we go, was how many between, or what percent are between 105 excuse me, and 120. So, first thing we do, of course, is draw the curve. And we locate 105 and we locate 120. Again, people did that quite well. Didn't have any trouble with that. Okay, 105 is, of course, halfway between 100 and 110. And we know that's at z equals negative 0.5. Now, it would be good to have labeled the z values. Okay, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Just as a reminder, but we pretty much know those by now. So I could leave that as optional, but I still recommend that you actually label them. Okay, well, 105 then is halfway between 100 and 110, so it's halfway between z equals negative 1 and z equals 1, so that's at z equals negative 0.5. And 120 is at z equals 1. Now, how are you going to use the table to get the necessary areas? At least one student said, well, you got a negative z. Does that give you a negative area? That's a very good question. My answer was, well, the curve is symmetric. It's exactly the same on this side as it is on this side. So whatever this area is the same as the area would be between 0 and 0.5. So the table actually gives you the area between 0 and negative 0.5 by giving you the area between 0 and 0.5. They're the same. So you just look up z equals negative 0.5. Of course, you've already look up z equals 0.5, you find the area is 0.19. Okay, again, it works as well on the right as it does on the left, or it works as well on the left as it does on the right. Then you look up the area for z equals 1. That's 0.34. So you have 0.34 of the area between here and here. You have 0.19 of the area between here and here. So this is 0.19 of the area. This is 0.34 of the area. So how much of the area do you have? Well, there's no overlap between these, but you've got them both, so you just add the 0.19 and the 0.34. Total area is 0.19 plus 0.34 or 0.53 or 50% of the total area. So we see the note down here. You can read that. It says the same thing I just did. The next question we tackled was how many lie more than 10 units, more than 10 IQ points from 120. Now the word more kind of confused people. So there's a significant amount of confusion on this, and I use the situation. Okay, let's say I have a restraining order on somebody. I don't know why anybody stalked me, but let's just pretend that, you know, for some reason somebody's stalking me. I got a restraining order on them, or somebody's threatened me, or whatever, and they're not allowed within 10 miles of me. And I live, let's say I live at mile 37 on the interstate. Well, there's part of the interstate that they can't go across. What part of the interstate is that? It's everything within 10 miles of the 37-mile post. Now, a restraining order really wouldn't have that condition on it. not a 10-mile radius, might be a 100-yard radius. It might be okay if you're driving by. Don't slow down, don't make any rude gestures. Yeah, you hurt my feelings terribly. And that's the purpose of a restraining order, to prevent me from getting my feelings hurt, I think. But if I'm at mile 37, it should be clear that if you're between mile 27 and mile 47, you're within 10 miles of mile 37, right? So if you got to be more than 10 miles away, you got to be at mile less than 27 or at mile greater than 47. It's the same situation here. Okay, how many people, well, what percent of your population lies more than 10 from 120? Now, these are IQ points, but they could be anything. Well, 120 is here at z equals 2, and I didn't label that very clearly because I walked around the room and everybody had it. But here's 120. Wait a minute. Yeah. Here's 120. Here's 130. Here's 110. Here's 90. Here's 80. That's z equals -2 through 2, and that's the same as it's always been. Okay, to be more than 10 units from 120, you got to be more than 130, or you've got to be less than 110. Okay, how are we going to get that? Well, this area is real easy, because this area starts at the middle and goes forever. That's half of the total area, so that's 50%. We don't even have to look that up. What are we going to look up to find this area? Well, we'd better look up z equals 2. Of course, z equals 2 gives us 0.477, 47.7%. Well, this clearly isn't 47.7%, but if you remember what the table tells you, it's this area here, from the middle out to this point, that's 47.7%, which means that this is 50% minus 47.7%, or 2.3%. I didn't write down how we got the 2 point, yeah I did. So this is 47.7%. It follows, since this from here to here is 50%, this all the way to the right is 50%, that if we do 50% minus 47.7%, we get the area here, 2.3%. So now, 50% of our people lie more than 10 units to our left, and 2.3% lie more than 10 units to the right of 120. Total area being then 52.3%, or 0.532.